Live streaming is going.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's nice to wait just a few minutes for everyone to get in, Antonella. Thank you.
You can begin.
Okay, we just wait for other attendees to come in. I see 51 participants as now.
What do you think, Antonella? Slowing down a little bit here.
Sure. Should we start right now?
I think it's time to start, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I will start. My God. Okay, everybody. So on behalf of the IEEE Computer Society, VGTC, and in cooperation with ACM SIGGRAPH, it's our great pleasure to welcome you to the 20th edition of the IEEE International Symposium on Mixed and Augmented Reality, ISMAR, held October 4th through October 8th in virtual Bari, Italy. My name is Antonello Uva, one of this year's general chairs, along with Michele Fiorentino from Polytechnic University of Bari in Italy, Joe Gabar from Virginia Tech, USA, and Veronica Taiklib from Federal University of Pernambuco, Brazil. We want to start by acknowledging the ISMAR Steering Committee for their support and guidance in preparing for this year's event. Over a year ago, we started planning ISMAR 2021, and with incredible help of all the ISMAR Conference Committee, over 50 chairs across over 20 committees in all, we are now all here and ready to engage for 1 week of scientific presentation and discussion that we believe represent the best of the best in the world-class AR research. The depth of commitment and tireless energy and innovation our committee members exhibited was truly humbling to witness and be part of. So if you see any of this chair online this week, please be sure to thank them for all the great work. But even with the best organizational planning and execution possible, there can be no ISMAR conference without an involved community willing to share their work through paper, submissions, poster, presentation, research demos, and much more, as you will see in this conference. For all the authors and speakers present, thank you for your constant effort to support ISMAR. So now let's speak a little bit about the program. Yes, this year we are happy to offer a terrific content. In total, we are glad to announce a very rich program, including 24 papers for publication in a special issue of TVCG, 56 conference papers, 4 invited presentations from recent TVCG and 1 CG&A authors, 70 poster papers, 14 research demonstrations, 12 doctoral consortium participants, 6 workshops, 5 tutorials, 3 competition entries, 2 panels, and a community discussion. This year, we are proud to say that ISMAR paper were published 7 days before the conference. Currently, we have all the ISMAR paper and with IEEE stamp and copyright accessible for the conference participants using the link with username and password available on our Discord channel, conference info and FAQ. Hopefully, all ISMAR 21 contribution will be available in the IEEE digital library within 1 or 2 months after the conference. Previously, it took around 4 to 7 months for the complete set of materials to appear in the digital library. This incredible result is due to the never-ending energy of our S&T program chairs, but also of our TAVES publication chairs. Well, now I would like to turn it over to Joe to overview some of the novelties we have this year.
Okay, thank you, Antonello. So yes, we have quite a program to offer, and just a few details on logistics to help you find your way around ISMAR this week. At a glance, on the website, we have a program overview color-coded by the platform in which the programming will be delivered. In blue are the Zoom-based webinar elements, and in sort of the yellow color are the GatherTown elements. All of the times that you see on the side are, and of course, in the Central European Standard Time. In particular, I want to draw your attention to the fact that we've got parallel paper tracks this year. So paper session 1 and 2 will be in parallel, 3 and 4, and so forth. And our paper chairs have done a very good job of trying to share those sessions in a way to minimize conflict, although there'll always be kind of conflicts. We want to see it all. And luckily, all of this content is available asynchronously as well. Importantly, after each paper session, there'll be a new kind of feature in the virtual space this year where there's an opportunity to speak one-on-one with authors. This will be happening in these yellow blocks that you see directly following the paper sessions, the keynotes, as well as the panels. And so you can go into the GatherTown directly after the paper session. You can navigate to the space in GatherTown where the authors will be present, and you can certainly engage with them there. Also, just to show you, this timetable is of course interactive to some degree. So for example, paper session 1, we can navigate to and get access to the non-interactive YouTube stream if you prefer that delivery mechanism, or alternatively, if you want to interact and engage, in which registered attendees can, you can access the Discord channel via some links, as well as GatherTown here. So we've tried to put the links in the website in as many relevant places as we can find to assist you in easily accessing the ISMAR content. Okay, there are a number of platforms. We understand that. We wish we could do it all on one platform, and we wish that platform was the physical Bari. On the left, we have our paid platform. So if you're a paid attendee, we of course welcome you to come interact in our Zoom platform, engage in Discord all week long and beyond. The Discord server will be up as long as we're allowed to have it up. And I've noticed that, for example, the IEEE VR21 Discord is still up and running, very happy, and some interesting exchanges are still happening there. So we hope that that will happen with the ISMAR 21 Discord channel as well. And of course, our Gather platform. I'll say something quick about Gather. We heard the feedback from previous recent conferences that interacting through the virtual avatars, despite the fact that we are a mixed reality centered conference, still didn't provide the kind of richness that we enjoy in a face-to-face conference. And so we thought, since Gather affords this sort of video-based, proximity-based, face-to-face interaction, we thought, why not just try it this year? And so we try it. And then lastly, if you're watching on the YouTube stream and you have not registered for ISMAR, we're glad that you're here. we are providing this as a mechanism to help increase accessibility around the world, and we hope that we get many, many views. However, if you wish to interact, of course, you can register anytime this week, and we'll be glad to have you over on the left side of this slide. Our online experience chairs have prepared just a few slides on how to access the platforms. And so let me run through these really quickly. First and foremost, Discord is sort of the central hub for distributing information. And if you're new to Discord, we appreciate your willingness to try it and be patient with it. Thank you for that. There is a help desk. If you open a ticket on the help desk, you'll be assigned a number and someone will help you as quickly as they possibly can. In Discord, we will post announcements and information, timely Zoom links to paper sessions and keynotes and other sessions. This helps with access control. Asynchronous communication, obviously. So we invite you, right? We're all in different time zones this year, as are the authors and other folks. So ask questions, talk to the other authors or speakers or the organizers, advertise yourself. All of this can be done asynchronously, and it's quite useful and engaging once you get kind of used to it. I mentioned the tech support, and just know that there are many student volunteers, online experience chairs, and other working behind the scene 24/7 to assist you. There is a Zoom Links channel that you probably found by now, since the fact that many of you are in here. But for those that are online and have not been into Zoom yet, this is where you will find those links. And for the other programs, so this would be our posters, our research demonstrations, the competitions, and Pitch Your Lab events, as well as some social events will be happening in the GatherTown, where we can have synchronous verbal and visual communication. And we invite you to find your old friends, meet new people, and again, talk to the authors and speakers. GatherTown really only works if you turn on your video. Okay, this is really the reason that we chose GatherTown, was so that we could have this video-based interaction. So if you wander around GatherTown with no video on, it in a way, it minimizes the need for us to even really have GatherTown. So let's try it. Let's get in there, turn our videos on, and engage with each other during the social breaks and during other opportunities. Again, this is where the videos are posted for research demonstrations as well as posters. There are synchronous events scheduled in GatherTown where you can speak to poster authors, for example, and other authors. And of course, there's even mechanisms for casting a vote for the competition in there. And so again, we welcome you to come into GatherTown and give it a try. There is a Discord channel, #GatherTown venue guides and facts, that describes some of the details and sort of hotkeys, shortcuts, and tips if you wish to spend a few minutes familiarizing yourself with Gather in that fashion. Okay, so now I'm very, very humbled and happy to have our S&T program committee present an overview of the paper selection process this year and the results. This is really, really an incredible group. One of the new things we did this year in anticipation of our growing community was to introduce a separate journal and conference paper submission process, which therefore born 2 different committees that worked very close together, but also had separate review, different logistics and working mechanisms, and they will describe their own reviewing processes in a minute. We tried to preserve the traditional ISMAR timelines, for example, submitting in mid-March, but we also had constraints on the back end with getting the publications into IEEE and available for your consumption on the back end. This created a very tight, even though it was many, many months, it ultimately created a very tight timeline for everybody involved, not just the paper chairs, but also the reviewers and also the authors that are with us today. We thank you all for your hard work during this schedule adjustment. Even working over the summer, I know, was challenging and cut into folks' vacation. So we do appreciate that. So at this point, I guess I'm very happy to turn the presentation over to our journal paper chairs.
Thank you, Joe, and good day, everyone. Welcome to ISMAR 21 Science and Technology program. My name is Guillaume Moreau from IMT Atlantique in France, and I'd like to first introduce you to my fellow journal paper program chairs. So you have Tabitha Beck from Davidson College in the US, Dennis Kalkofen from TU Graz in Austria, and Daisuke Wai from Osaka University in Japan. As Joe, can you go to the next slide, please? As Joe said, the ISMOR scientific program has been divided in 2 tracks this year, and I will provide you a few facts about the journal track. So submission had to be from 4 to 9 pages in length, plus potential 2 pages of references if needed. We had 122 submissions in total, from which we finally accepted 24. This is nearly 20%, and this could be seen as an ISMOR record for the TVCJ special issue, which I believe is the biggest special issue we ever had. The graph below show you the gross number of submissions in the past, so including journal and conference paper. And for this year only, the number of journal submissions this year. And it's the same for the acceptance rate. But of course, figures are not that much consistent because they do not mention exactly the same thing. A few words about the review process now. Each paper was reviewed by 5 to 7 reviewers, including 2 members of the IPC and 3 to 4 external reviewers. We had review critic check process involved. The reviewers made a proposal for decisions organized by the primary reviewer. If no consensus was reached, another reviewer was appointed. Decisions were made by the program chairs after careful study of the paper, the reviews, the discussion, and of course, the mega review. To run the whole thing, we've been helped by an international program committee of 40 members, approximately 1/3 in Asia Pacific, 1/3 in Europe, and 1/3 in the Americas. Their names will be shown in the next slide. This is the biggest IPC for ISMOR yet, and we did that, of course, to limit the workload. We also had the help of 250 external reviewers. And then on behalf of my co-program chairs, I'd like to express my deepest thanks to both the IPC members and the external reviewers. You have been doing a tremendous work. Thank God for that. Of course, we would have all wanted to share this very special moment with you in person in Bury, but we anyway wish you a very fruitful conference, and we do hope that the program will please you. Thanks a lot.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Guillaume. Hey,
thank you. So I would like first to introduce our team. So with Maud Marshall, Raphaël Radomski, Jonathan Ventura, Lily Wang, and myself, Anne-Hélène Olivier. So we are very pleased to be associated to this new conference papers track, which aims at reflecting a new scope of contribution that is more narrow than journal papers, but yet still very significant. So in addition to the new submissions, authors had the possibility to resubmit their unaccepted journal papers with review continuity. We have also worked in close relation with the poster chairs to recommend unaccepted conference papers for a poster presentation based on the level of their contribution. So Maud will explain in a few minutes the review process. It is also worth noting that journal and conference paper chairs have worked together to gather papers from both tracks in the program without distinction of presentation at time. And we are convinced that the program will showcase cutting-edge research in our field, will provoke fruitful discussions, and will help to establish new connections. So yeah, it's really time to discuss and use all the channels in the conference. So next slide, please. So let's talk about a few words about the important numbers of the conference papers track. So we received 237 complete submissions. So we are very proud of this high number given the complex situation of the pandemic. In a year when we all experience extraordinary difficulties in coordinating research activities and conducting experiments, we believe that ISMAR community showed its ability to adapt and maintain a high quality research. So then over these 237 submissions, 56 papers were selected, corresponding to an overall acceptance of 23.6%. This selection resulted from the valuable work of 269 external reviewers and 42 IPC members who provided a total of 879 reviews. So for that huge work, we really would like to express our gratitude to all of them. And so Maud will now detail the review process.
Thank you, Anne-Hélène. So since we had, so next slide, yeah, thank you. Since we had like a new conference track this year, so we designed a new double-blind review process. So we had two types of submissions, new submissions and submissions that were rejected from the journal paper track and asked for review continuity. So we chose to implement for the first time the review continuity this year in order to try to reduce the review workload for the community. So submission from the journal track had the choice to ask for review continuity. If it was not the case, we considered them as new submissions. So for each paper, we had 2 IPC members. And for the new submissions represented in blue and in the picture, so we had the first phase of death and quick rejects. And then we had a review phase where each paper received 3 reviews, 2 external and 1 from the secondary. It was followed by a discussion led by the primary, and then additional review could have been asked during this phase in case of no consensual decision. So at the end, there were 3 possible recommendations for the paper: accept, conditionally accept, and reject. So in the meanwhile, in the green process, in the picture, so for the journal resubmission, so we had only reviews from the primary and secondary, since the reviews from the journal track were available. As for the main review process, we had the possibility to ask for additional review if needed. So once we had all the recommendations, all the conference paper chair met during several days and decided to conditionally accept 56 paper. So in addition, we had like 34 papers among the rejected papers that were finally accepted by the poster chairs after our recommendation for conditional acceptance as posters. So to handle this review process, we would like particularly to thank the IPC member. Given the current sanitary conditions, the IPC member did a great job to ensure a high quality review process for all the papers. So usually we ask them to stand up if we were in person in Bari. So let's thank them all around the world. So we try to balance with Europe. Then we have also people from Americas. And finally, we have also people from Asia. So we would like also finally to thank all the external reviewers, without whom we will not have been able to handle this review process. And we wish you a very nice conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Maud, and Anne-Hélène and Guillaume as well. I will say this, with the new journal and conference submissions tracks at ISMAR this year being separate, we were very happy to leverage our very, very strong relationship with our sibling conference, IEEE VR. And like we were very fortunate to be able to bring some folks onto our program committee that have been recent program chairs as part of the double submission process in VR, not the double submission process, but the double track submission process. So this is a very nice thing. And also, if you're ever a general chair, my very, very strong advice to you is to get a very, very strong program chair, set of program chairs, because these two groups are absolutely incredible. I believe they could have run the conference on their own, and Antonello and Michaela and I and Veronica could have maybe had some Italian coffee and sat in the back. So for sure. I want to speak a little bit about the diversity programs this year, some of which are new to ISMAR. And these were spearheaded by our Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accessibility Committee, as well as part of our student volunteer chairs. Their work here is also tirelessly performed. So for the first year, we offered a scholarship focused on increasing inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, targeting several different students and young professionals who might have unique needs, and to help increase sort of our the diversity of what ISMAR looks like, which is obviously hugely important. The process is on the right here. There were applications along with a CV and a short essay, and then applications were reviewed based on eligibility, need, and impact. And we're very happy to fully support 23 attendees this year, fully covered. And if we would have been in Bari, there would have been travel stipends associated with this as well. Of this group, there were 4 undergraduate students, 5 masters, 9 PhD students, and 5 early career professionals and faculty. So thank you, IDEA committee, for this scholarship. Looking a little bit more broadly across the diversity programs at ISMAR, the diversity chairs, working along with the student volunteer chairs, were able to really get a very nice balance across our IDEA scholarships, our new mentor-mentee program, and our student volunteers, resulting in a total of 111 participants that are roughly split. We have with the males and the females, and also some reporting non-binary. And you can see from the map in the bottom right, for example, that these programs were able to touch individuals in 36 different countries, which is very, very, very exciting. And we just really are happy that the IDEA committee worked so hard in collaboration with the student volunteers to make this happen. Also new this year is a mentor-mentee program spearheaded by Cassidy Nelson. And we hope that this will be a continuing tradition at ISMAR as well, where PhD students, young professionals are looking to get career advice or research advice, or both, from maybe more experienced individuals in the community. And they're matched up right now and already hopefully talking on Discord and meeting up. Okay, now also this year we were able to introduce a competition. This was spearheaded by Farhan, Ryan, and Waiku. And the idea here was to support the hybrid conference of the future, which made a lot of sense when we were planning the hybrid conference and still makes sense now. But the idea was that the competition entries had to support remote attendees from various global locations, attendees that would be co-located at a physical space, but also sort of the combination of the remote attendees and the physically co-located attendees. There are a few entries that are published up in the GatherTown venue, and so we invite you to go in there and view their submissions. There's a process by which you all can vote, and we hope that you do go and view and engage with these submissions and ultimately vote. There are interesting prizes, and later on today, Italian time, there will actually be a live session where the competition chairs will go into a little bit more detail about how this will work. Okay, and then getting towards the end of the opening ceremony here, we have Michaela Fiorentino, one of the other general chairs, who is going to walk us through some of the social events that have been planned, and without the work of these individuals shown here, could not exist. And so we want to thank these folks as well. Michaela, if you are live, we are ready to hear about the social events.
Thank you, Joe, for the introduction. I'm really excited to announce you the social part of ISMAR 2021. And starting that, we all folks know very well how many collaborations started in front of a good beer or a good sushi in Osaka after the conference. So all virtual attendees, but especially the new generation of researchers, really deserve those unforgettable and priceless experiences. We worked hard to promote the occasional interactions and the cultural exchanges in the virtual venue. You can go one slide on, because we have for this reason we created the Lungomare of Bari, the waterfront, located in the GatherTown, just on your right side on the entrance. Feel free to enjoy the key landmarks and the city of the Puglia region, the main attraction, the local traditions, and Italian lifestyle and mood. For sure, we cannot provide you real food, unfortunately, but we can teach you how to make it at home. So you need to do this. Some lucky and brave attendees will also get some real Italian stuff at their door by taking part the 2 challenges we organized. So Joe, can you show the challenge? So the first challenge is tricky, is a treasure hunt. Yesterday there was another one, but it was really finished very early. So this time we created the new one. We laid 16 eggs this time instead of 8 in the entire venue. So not just on the waterfront. Some are hidden in a crazy way, and some are fakes. So beware. The eggs contain hints of a local proverb translated in English. Post the solution in the dedicated channel on Discord, #HiddenTreasureChallenge. The only rule is that only 2 attempts are allowed. We give a prize to the first right solution, the first and a second prize to the correct meaning of it, and a consolation prize raffled among all the participants. So you can go to the next challenge. Yes, maybe somebody is not into gaming and puzzle and doesn't have much time, but if you are creative, we have another simple challenge for you. The Italian Mood Challenge is very simple and fun. Find something nearby that reminds you of Italy in a funny way. Take a picture, post on Discord with the hashtag Italian Mood Challenge. The only rule is that the picture must be taken starting from now, so all pictures are not eligible. All the attendees can vote, and picture with more thumbs up gets the prize. You can put other emoji for fun, but only the thumbs contribute for the ranking. We also have a consolation prize, so it's worth trying. Everybody can try, please. The deadline for both challenge is the 7th October at 15 p.m. So if you remember, so let's go for the next slide, please. If you remember, when we present ISMAR for the first time, we promised you to bring to the old town, and we are doing it. Tonight and 20:30 p.m., come to Gather Town multifunction room to see our interactive city walk of Puglia. The anchorman here is Joe, that James Bond here, because his fantastic suit, Italian suit, is wearing. And so he will guide us through the street looking for the best attraction around in Bari, but also we have connection with other cities in the region. So you can have an active role, so we can have some fun. And finally, so Joe, come to the next slide. I want to give a good tribute to our conference sponsors. Let's say Qualcomm, Evolus, Akuhodo, DI Holdings, Masmec, Intuitive, Kronos, and Politecnico di Bari. We appreciate your interest in our community and the trust given in such hard times. I'm very sure we can repay you with our excellent program, activities, and collaboration opportunities. Also, thank you a lot. And for the attendee, visit the stands of our sponsor, because you can find a lot of interesting activities from industry. We have the last slide, Joe. And well, I'm really glad to have a surprise for you. We noticed that we have a special event this year. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of ISMAR. So it's a very important date for us. And I would like to give the floor to Mark Billinghurst for this presentation. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
That's great. It's so great to be here. I wish that we were here with you in Italy. I was looking forward to walking along the coast and eating some of that fine fish food that you were telling me about. But we can do even better by being online and still have a good community as well. So I'd like to just take a couple of minutes to acknowledge that this is the 20th ISMAR conference. We'll have a bigger celebration next year when it is the 20th year of ISMAR. But we want to celebrate a little bit now because it's the 20th conference. And let me share my screen a little bit here, and I have a couple of slides to show. So let me just share this and go here. So as I said, this is the 20th conference, and I distinctly remember going to the first ISMAR conference 19 years ago. I flew into Darmstadt in Germany, and it was Darmstadt, and we had a very small but a very interesting conference. If I was there face to face, I would ask people in the audience to raise their hands to say who was also at the conference. I suspect it's maybe a handful. At conference, you know, we had it was held about the same time in 2020. And at that conference, we had some amazing new technologies being shown. You can see here Kazukato there showing some early natural feature tracking. There's Wayne Piekarski with a Trimble backpack computer, some other people using AI Toolkit tracking things, and all these amazing demos were crammed into this small room. So from these, you see some other demonstrations here, the Dwarf system, Siemens was showing some nice medical AR, and Oliver Bimber was doing some very interesting projected augmented reality on stereo tables. But from these small beginnings over the last 19 years to the 20th conference we have today, ISMAR has grown quite significantly. First of all, we spread across the world, and we've had locations of conferences all the way from the US to Mexico to Brazil, Asia and Australia, and of course into Europe. Perhaps more importantly has been our research outputs, and over the last 19-20 conferences, we've had over 1,700 publications and more than 30,000 citations in those publications. And that's quite a huge number. Actually, those number of citations represent 1/5 of all of the citations of all the AR papers that have ever been published. So we've had a huge impact. And the impact has not just been with research outputs, but also on the translation of research into tools and commercial products we can actually use. So for example, some of the research that have been shown at ISMAR has been some of the first handheld AR, the markerless tracking, reconstruction using Kinect Fusion, outdoor wide area tracking, user evaluation techniques, AR telepresence techniques, and even more. But for me, the greatest impact has been on the people. And I'm estimating that over the course of those previous 9 ISMARs, we have over 5,000 people would have attended one or more ISMARs. And those personal connections that people make and the opportunities to start talking about research collaborations that have helped grow the community. So I'm really, really excited to congratulate the team this year for conducting the 20th ISMAR. I'm super excited about the program, and I know that we can build on the legacy of the past and keep on growing the conference to be such a great success in the future. So thank you very much for the time, and I'm looking forward to diving into the program.
Great, thank you so much, Mark. It's been 20 years. I can't believe it. I don't think I was in Darmstadt, but I was maybe in the next year or the next year. It seems like, I guess that just means that I'm old is what that means. Okay. So just wrapping up, I promised a good colleague of mine, Ed Swan, that I would mention this. It's it's a little bit of a technical issue, but it's important, right? So the VGTC technical committee is having an election soon. Traditionally, the chair is a member of the IEEE Viz community. And this technical committee oversees all of the technical conferences that many of us publish in and are part of, including ISMAR. And so we have an opportunity this year to get some representation into the VGTC from our community, namely Victoria. So the candidates this year, right, are Victoria and then some others from the Viz community. And so there is a way to vote. And unfortunately, the slide that I was given doesn't actually have a link to vote, but we will push that into the Discord, into a Discord channel, and announce it in a couple of different ways. I guess the short version of this is you must be an IEEE Computer Society member, and we want you to vote. So if you're not a member, please become one, and please stay tuned to understand how to vote, and let's get those votes in so that ISMAR as well as VR can have even stronger representation at the VGTC level. Okay. So we're wrapping up. This is wrapping up the opening ceremony for ISMAR. I'll just point out that we have 2 paper sessions in parallel coming up next, our first and second, on displays as well as gestures in hand, respectively. We will be closing out this particular Zoom webinar, the opening ceremony. We'll be closing this out, and then you'll need to go to the Zoom links to retrieve the Zoom link that is for whichever of these 2 sessions you're choosing to attend live. And of course, again, you can always revisit these paper talks through YouTube later.
Joe, the Zoom links will be available 10 minutes before the starting of the session, actually.
Thank you, Antonello. Yes. So there'll actually be there'll be a short pause between now and when the Zoom link is available. It's scheduled by our trusty bot, who's already stumbled once or twice. So I guess bots are not perfect either. So with that, we welcome you to ISMAR 2021, and we hope that you have a great week and enjoy the conference. Thank you very much.
Enjoy the conference.